Hi everybody, Steve Griffiths here, developer of the MTPredictor software program. In today's MTPredictor video, I'd like to look at how the USE minis, in particular the ES, unfolded yesterday. Well, it was actually Friday, the 25th of September. So this was the last trading day. So I want to have a look at the ES in particular. For standard traders, our STF was blue. We had a TS4 buy setup at around 12:30. Let's place the analysis on the blue buy bar. You can see the market went up to the first target there for a nice 2.3 hour profit. Very nice little trade there. Remember, we use correct position sizing to look at the to keep the number of, or keep the initial risk constant. So we vary the number of lots, contracts, or shares to keep our initial risk the same across all our trades. In this case, it's risking 2% on a sample $20,000 account. So that's all well and good, but I want to have a look at this with a bit more of advanced eyes. In particular, you can see we have a little message down here telling us this was an outside gap up. If I put the high-low close on for the previous day, here's the previous day, you can see that on Friday the market gapped up above the high of 26.75, so it was a true outside gap up. So what do we know about outside gap ups? Well, typically, 70% of the time actually, so more than typically, they tend to go to new highs. So they'll either run to new highs by breaking the high or low, in this case gap up, so it would be the high of the first 3-minute candle. In this case it didn't. If it pulls back, you then tend to get a pullback into about the 10 o'clock area. So we normally say about quarter to 10 to about quarter past 10, around about here, before the market will then drift up to new highs. In this case it was a little bit later here at about 10:30. But nevertheless, the tendency of the market then making new highs later in the day has unfolded. In this case the new high came in here at 13:18 New York time. So in other words, the large degree trend would have been up. So that's why this TS4 would have been a good buy setup. Let's remove that. Let's go to have a look at the higher time frame chart. Now normally we'd go back to the last swing. In this case it's the last swing to this low here. Here's the major low made the day before. We'd have had our DP on from the prior pivot here. Now as you can see, where the market opened was right in our DP resistance area, but as I've said, because it was an outside gap up, you can see our message there, we tend to expect that DPs like this will tend to fail. In other words, we'll tend to make new highs. In this case the new high was still within the 15-minute DP resistance, but the tendency is that any highs made very, very early in the day at DP resistance on a gap up or gap down day will tend to be exceeded, which is exactly what happened here. So let's move this off a bit. You can see we had another swing generated here where the market moved down. On our 15-minute chart the market moved up again. So as this new swing was made, you'd have come back to this prior pivot high, this one here, right mouse click, place the DP on. Now remember, these DPs are on the chart in advance. So let's do that. Let's actually go back. Let's remove the data to back here. Now I'm not just hiding the data, I'm actually removing it totally. I'm now going back to this pivot. Right mouse click, place the DP on. Can you see how it's on the chart in advance? It was there before the market even got there. So that was a potential resistance area on the 15-minute chart. If we go up, you can see it actually made a high at that level there before the market declined for basically the rest of the day, and as you can see, that nailed the very high of the day for you. So let's see how that would have actually changed any analysis on our 3-minute chart. Well, on our 3-minute chart you can see that this TS4 buy setup came in after our initial correction, after our gap up. Therefore we're anticipating that typically, i.e. 70% of the time, the market will go up to make new highs above the initial high made on the gap up bar there, which is exactly what it did. So therefore this TS4 buy setup was in the direction of the large degree trend, and again was a good one to take, which we've already looked at. But wouldn't it be nice to be able to have a sell setup up here at our 15-minute resistance? Remember, the time we go against our STF color is when we have a sell buy or sell setup that's in a higher time frame resistance. Well, if you'd had your scanner running and you've been following your 5-minute chart, this is what unfolded on your 5-minute chart. there you've got a DP sell. There it is. That DP sell came in as of the bar of 1320, which was the very bar of the high of the day. But look where it unfolded. It unfolded right at our 15-minute resistance area that we had on our chart way in advance. In other words, before the market got there. So that's the beauty of these MTPredictor tools, is that they're leading. In other words, as the market was going up to this particular level here, you knew that you had 15-minute resistance on your chart, therefore you're ready and prepared and waiting for any potential sell setups. So when this sell setup came in at our 15-minute resistance, this would have been a good one to take. Let's right mouse click, place the analysis on. Again, we use correct position sizing. Again, 2% of a sample $20,000 account. This would have had you short. The market went down to the first target there, where a nice 4.4R profit would have been available. Very nice indeed. But as you got into this level here, you can see that our strength band on our SDF indicator was actually going strong. You can see as it came into the level here, it was actually just about turning strong. So you could have actually decided that you wanted to then trail the stop with your ATR stop to run the trade a little bit further. If you'd done that, you'd have then been stopped out around about here for about 7.4R, or just over 7R profit. Very nice indeed. However, if you were running this further, at one point the market down here, you were sitting on 11, 12, almost 13R profit, which actually is a massive profit. So that's something you really want to be locking in. So was there any other reason for the more experienced user to want to bring your stop closer to the market as you got down to these levels? Well, if you right mouse click over the low here, do Elliott wave minor, you can see we have a minor tool here. Can you see how the market made a decline in a 5-wave sequence? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We were at the minimum wave 5 WPT as of the 1510 bar, then down into the 1515 bar. So once the market hit the minimum wave 5 WPT, which would have been here, you could have started to trail your stop one tick above the prior bar highs. Why? Because you're in a 5-wave sequence and you're at a target where the 5-wave sequence was like to end. You knew that a 5-wave sequence was typically the last swing in a move off the high, and you were sitting on such a massive profit, so you want to be able to lock it in. Next buy, you'd have brought it down to here and locked in just over 11R profit. Market then rallied up and you'd have said thank you very much by coming in at that level there. And as you can see, that was absolutely a fantastic trade, mainly because it was set up by our 15-minute DP being on our chart in advance. So that had you looking for potential short trades even before the market got up there. And then when the 5-minute DP came in, that was a nice trade to take, and you would have actually then come in on the short side. The only real decision was whether you trailed or you wanted to go a bit further as the market came into the first target. If you hadn't and just wanted to take out 4.4R profit, that would have been very nice indeed, and a very respectable trade. If you had trailed, again the other options were just trail with the ATR stop, 7.6R profit there would have been very nice indeed, or for a bit more experienced users, knowing that once you came down here, when you're on such a big profit, you want to look for another reason why the market may be coming to an end, and here the 5-wave sequence was indicating that that decline was likely in its last phase anyway, so therefore just trailing your stop above the 1-bar highs would have been a very sensible thing to do. So an absolutely massive profit there, 11.4R profit. So a very good day for MTPredictor yesterday, not only just catching the standard TS4 buy setup on the rally up into the highs there for a nice 2.3R profit, but the main thing was actually anticipating where the high of the day was coming in with our 15-minute DP. That then set up the lovely short trade on the 5-minute chart, catching the very bar of the high of the day. So a very nice day for MTPredictor yesterday, and hopefully this video has shown how some of the tools in MTPredictor can be used to enable you to capture some great trades like this on the USE Minis.